We're going to draw a bottlenose dolphin and a harbor porpoise, two members of the toothed whale family. And these are just going to be simple sketches. They're kind of fun to do. But I thought I'd start off just by pointing out that the bottlenose dolphin is about twice as long as a harbor porpoise. So if you have a ruler, you could measure out a length for the bottlenose dolphin and then just use half as much for your harbor porpoise, or you could just do your rough estimate in your mind. The bottlenose dolphin is going to be a lot bigger. A female bottlenose dolphin ranges from about 7 feet 10 inches long to 12 feet. Harbor porpoises, on average, females again, are about 5'6", so I made this 5.5 inches. So I'm going on the smaller side of the bottlenose dolphin. Doesn't really matter. I do want to point out that the female bottlenose dolphin on average weighs about 570 pounds compared to a harbor porpoise, female at 168. Interestingly, in both species, the males are smaller, and in fact, a male harbor porpoise weighs about what I weigh, and the male is also smaller in the bottlenose dolphin, average of 500 pounds compared to females at 570. And there's good reason for that, but we won't cover that right now. To get started, it's a good idea to just print out some reference illustrations from the web. These are two from the NOAA Fisheries website, and I printed them at approximately the same scale. This is a little too big, but I'm not going to trace these. I'm just going to have them nearby so I can look up and use them as a reference. Okay, I like to start with the beak. Not everybody has to do that, but they have a short little beak, or rostrum is the other name for it, and we're all familiar with that dolphin smile. One mistake a lot of people make is they put the lower jaw behind it, but it actually sticks out a little bit more than the upper jaw. And then get the throat in here. And then next I want to make the melon. This is where the fatty structure that transmits their sound and creates the clicks that they use for echolocation. So get the curve of the head, and your lines don't have to be perfect. You can kind of sketch it in here. And then there's just generally a curve. I'm going to just do a light line. I'm going to put that whole, I'm going to not worry about the dorsal fin yet. I'm going to go back like that. And good thing I left some room up here. And the front edge of the dorsal fin is roughly a little less than half of the body length. So I'm probably going to come out, I'm going to make that a little, maybe like at 3/4 of an inch or less. I think I'm going to sketch in the leading edge of the dorsal fin here. And it has a curve to it. Some of you, I'm sure, have seen bottlenose dolphins. They're also called common dolphins. And now I can kind of tell I maybe made that throat going a little too fat. Whoops, too fat. So I'm going to have an eraser here. That was a goof right there. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I don't want to make them too fat here. And then this is where the flipper is inserted here. And that's kind of a triangle, but not exactly. And they actually have a little bit of a up in what we might think of as the armpit, which isn't exactly, but and then it comes back sort of like that. And then they do have a bit of a belly, and more so, of course, if it's a pregnant female. And that tapers into this area that is sometimes called the tail stalk, S-T-O-C-K. And then the fluke is sometimes tricky to draw, but I'm trying to give you like a general way to draw it. If you put because we're trying to draw it with perspective here, so that's the far edge. And let me move this in over a little bit here. And then we want to imagine that it's going to come down here, and functionally this crease here is anatomically going to line up more or less with, and then, again, I might have made that line go a little too far, but so now we're going to have this part of the fluke come in because we're drawing it with perspective. It's angled that way, and we're going to bring it in like that. So there you go. And then of course it's really important to get the eye in here, and you can keep it really simple. I just maybe do something like that. I think if you put a little, now that looks like an evil dolphin, and they usually don't have an evil look, so I think I need to turn that up. And then also just a little indication. They do have some folds sometimes behind the eye. And there you go. There's your bottlenose dolphin, more or less. And you could add a little hint here of that melon. This is literally a structure of lipid out in front of the structures inside the head that produce their whistles and clicks. Now we're ready to draw the smaller harbor porpoise, also an odontocete or a toothed whale. And they don't have a beak that sticks out like that, although they have a bit of a prominent, they have kind of a steep curve at the head, and then we're going to come back and just I skipped the dorsal fin, but we'll come back to it. Make kind of a curve like that. And then the porpoise has, I think, a really cute face or smile also, but not as well known because they are very shy, this species anyway. Kind of comes up like that. And then the lower jaw, the throat here, comes back, and I'm going to make a light sketch for the overall shape of the body, which is sort of like just a long oval, but with some contours back here as it goes toward the fluke, which we'll add in a moment. Okay, so on the harbor porpoise, the eye is back a little further, it seems, in a way, about here. And just put any kind of little mark there almost. And again, I think a little crease behind it gives it looks more realistic. And then their flippers have a different shape, a little more rounded. So we're going to start, actually the flipper starts behind the eye. Let's see about right here. And has again kind of a crease or a shaping fold here, but it's going to be more rounded. It ends up more rounded, a little bit like that, not pointed there. So there's that. Now, of course, we need the dorsal fin, which is not as tall nor as curved or falcate. It's a little more like a triangle, and it starts about right here. Put that on there, and then it doesn't have that tipped over tip on it. It's much more like a triangle. Slight curve to it, and you'll see a little bit of a contouring back here. Okay, now their flukes, similar. I always start with the far fluke. So just kind of bring it down like that. And they have a slightly different shape to their fluke, and I'm not saying I'm getting it exactly right, but and then bring this one out a little further, again, mostly because you've got some foreshadowing there. Not foreshadowing, what do we call it? Forgotten the name of that, but anyway, none of this is perfect, but that doesn't matter. And again, it's okay if you have sketchy lines, and then you can come back, get rid of this right here with your eraser. And the harbor porpoise, and I'm not really happy with how I did the head here. I'm going to shape it a little bit more. I want to make sure you can see that. I'll try to, okay, so we come here. It's a little more rounded. I'm just going to go ahead and shade it in like they actually are. They're darker gray on the top and then lighter gray on the bottom. And let's get that mouth line a little more delineated. And like that. And they have sort of a, some of them you sometimes see a little bit of a shading in their pigment going to the flipper. And then these are, okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This would be like, how they're colored, but we're not going to worry too much about that. Okay, so dolphins are in one family of toothed whales, the Delphinidae, and porpoises are in a separate family, Phocoenidae. Both are toothed whales, and the term porpoise used to be used for both dolphins and porpoises, but now it's more widely recognized that it's, if you call this group porpoises and the ones that are actually in the Delphinid family, dolphins, that's a bit more accurate. So have fun, get yourself some reference photos. If you have those nearby, it sometimes makes it easier to do your drawing. And let's see, let's go back to, got on the top, the Bottlenose Dolphin, Tursiops truncatus, notable beak, and inside that mouth are separated peg-like teeth for grabbing fish. The dorsal fin is taller and more curved compared to a harbor porpoise, which is even more triangular. Can't help but fix that a little bit. I hope you get to see them in the wild. They're really fun, of course, to watch. Keep sketching, practice, and have fun. Play with it.